And Witty, just for this live, um, and just for this live, I am going to I'm going to unmod you for a minute. Um, and I've got Jana in here, but I need to get this off of my chest. I am saying this because I truly want you to hear it. Please be respectful in the comments. That's all I ask. And here we go. Thank you, Heavenly. It is not my job as a grown adult to try to control another adult. Nor do I feel that it is my place or my space to tell anybody what to do on this app. If you are an adult and you are a free thinker and you have your own mind and you have your own mindset, that's fine. But where it's frustrating for me is that all I can do is just be myself and hope that the person that I'm surrounding myself with will see that within themselves, right? But I also know that a lot of people on this app don't have the best intentions for Witty either, right? I understand that some people they find this funny. And say you don't want to be here anymore. You cannot come on this app and threaten to want to take your own life. You cannot do that. I tried calling you 3 times that night, Witty. I was not even in that live. I just got messages saying that you said you wanted to harm yourself. And I got nothing but crickets. Straight to voicemail. I even tried texting you and calling you, and I got nothing. And I am sitting here dealing with a actual huge loss in my family. And I've been trying to deal and cope with that. And then on top of this, I'm having to try to be there for a friend, but this friend is trying to say that I'm not there, that I'm shitting on her, that I don't care. But I do care. I've asked you to please not go live when you're like this because I don't want people to see you like this. I want you to hear me out. I will let you have a box. I will. I just want you to listen. And when I was telling you that you're taking baby steps, I know that. I see that. I understand that when people are going through sobriety, they sometimes have setbacks, and that's okay, right? That's okay if you have a setback. But we got to ask ourselves, what can we do? What can we prevent? What can we try this round to try to prevent the next setback, right? I am not equipped to help you with your sobriety. I'm not an AA counselor. I'm not an AA person. I'm not. I am just a friend trying the best that I can to be there for you and be supportive of you. But exactly, Jana, I try to diffuse the situation. I try to bring in humor. I try to bring in laughter. I try to detour the situation. I've asked you to maybe log off for a little bit, you know? There are a lot of people here for Witty. But we also have to realize that you're also responsible, even though when you break your sobriety, you can't just come back on this app the next day and act as if nothing happened. You can't act as if you did not say certain things. Do you know, Witty, that for the past few days that I haven't heard from you? I haven't gotten a call. I haven't gotten a text. I didn't know if you were in the hospital. I didn't know if you were successful in your attempt. You didn't text me. You didn't text Jana. Nothing. Crickets. And then you went live tonight. So please say that I don't care. Please say that I'm not there when I've literally sat here for the past few days just wondering, is it worth worrying about anymore? Is it worth me stressing out anymore? It's just I'm at this point where it's like I have to ask myself, like, I want to be there, and I want to help you. I want to see you succeed in your sobriety, right? And I want to see you be the person that I know that you are. You are funny, you are smart, you're beautiful, you have a great personality. You do. And I know that this is hard to hear, and I'm not saying this because I'm trying to, embarrass you or drag you or rake you through the coals. I just want you to see that, like, the people that are genuinely there for you, when you get to that point, you start hurting the people that love you the most. And that's what sucks for me. And I'm just in limbo right now. And it's like, I've done nothing but be kind and understanding. And I wish that I could snap my fingers, and I wish I could make it better for you. I do. But I also know that I have my life to live. And I want to start setting those boundaries within myself, because would you put up with me if I was behaving like you? And that's what I want you to ask yourself. Would you be able to put up with me? Would you be able to handle my behavior? Would you be able to handle me if I was acting like you? Would you want to? You know? And it's like, I don't want to just wash my hands. I don't want to just give up. I don't want to just, you know, you know, toss you to the side as if what you're going through doesn't matter. It's just, it's hard for me. I don't like seeing people go after you. I don't like people mocking you or making fun of you. I don't like people making, videos about you. But it's like, there are people that are just, you just can't go on live and say you want to hurt yourself and then wish someone else would do that to themselves. I would like to think that, me and Jana, we're not enabling, we're trying our best and we're doing our best, but it's like we do have a point where we're just asking ourselves, what do we do? I'm just more upset with the fact that you did go on live, and that's fine if she is. It's she can do whatever she wants, but it's like, but what you can't do is you can't say that I haven't been there, and you can't say that I don't care about you, and then you can't turn around and then tell everybody I'm at fault because you have an emergency bill because I called you for help that you said that I could call for. I genuinely stayed up till almost 4:30 in the morning, worried sick about you. And sometimes real friends can't sugarcoat shit. Real friends don't sugarcoat shit. Real friends sometimes tell you what you need to hear. I've had two very important women in my life that have had to put me in my place and tell me things that I needed to hear. And sometimes the truth hits you in your gut so hard. Sometimes when you have to stand in your own shit, the shit you create, sometimes you need to stand in it. And then when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, right? But my worry for you, Whitty, is that I know that your health is not in the best. I know that you're in a lot of pain. I know that you're, taking medication, and then I see you struggle, and I see you break your sobriety, and I'm worried that something is genuinely going to happen to you. You know what I mean? And that's been stressing me out because I'm like, I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I could handle that call. I don't know if I could ask myself, should I have done something better, or should I have done something differently? And it's like my hands are just sweating talking about it. And it's like, I have worked so hard to get in the place that I have right now in my own personal life. And it's like, I've worked so hard to get out of the shit and get out of the bullshit and stay out of all the chaos and everything. And it's like, I want to help and I want to be there, but I got to set boundaries for myself, And it's not me setting boundaries to say that I give up. It's just I don't know what else to do. I don't know. And when I called that night, I was shaking. When I called you on that phone and I heard you moaning and you wouldn't respond and you wouldn't say anything, and I asked you if you needed help and you said yes, that you were hurt. I didn't know I knew what state you lived in. I didn't know your address. And then I told you, please don't say it on live, to text it to me, And I've never lost anybody from addiction. And I don't know if I can mentally handle that if something happens to you. Some people can handle that, and I just don't know if I can. And I guess that's where I'm struggling. It's like when you see someone hurt, it's like when I see other people hurt, I hurt, in certain situations. Sometimes I wish I could fix things. But I've been working so hard, working on myself, right? And working on things that I need to change within myself. And I've come a really, really, really long way. And I'm really proud of myself for that. And I didn't make those changes because of other people. I've done it because that's what I wanted to do with myself. Because who I used to be on this app was not who I wanted to be. And I'm sorry that, my lives aren't full of drama and chaos like they used to be. Thank you, clock. I don't have people in my boxes screaming and hollering, but I know what it's like to be at your lowest of low and want to give up. And I understand that other people's triggers are not your triggers, and you're not responsible for people's triggers, but you can't come on here and say you want to hurt yourself or you want someone else to hurt themselves. You can't do that. And I don't care what state of mind you're in. And that's another thing. I'm and I think right now that I don't know if this is something that I can just continue to keep taking on. You know what I mean? I want the best for you. I want you to reach every goal and every dream you've ever imagined for yourself. So I just want people to understand that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to set boundaries for yourself. It's okay to protect your peace. It's okay to um it's okay to say that, right now in this point in time in my life that I have to just I have to walk away for a little bit. And if Jana wants to be there and support her and other people want to take that on, that's great. That's awesome. I just know for me that, like, I've had those really in-depth conversations, and I've kind of like feel like I've exerted and exhausted all that I know to do, right? I'm not a professional in this. I'm not a counselor. I don't deal with people that have addictions. Um, I don't know how hard that struggle is. It's a lot. But I'm just going to say this, and even if she's listening or not listening, Woody, you have my number. You know that you can always call me if you want to. I just know that I can't entertain the chaos on TikTok anymore. Not right now. There are people that truly love and care about you. And I wish you would take the time off to focus on yourself and not this app. This app brings out a lot of anxiety and stress on people, and it can be a stressor. It should be something fun, right? This should be something you should be able to come on and have fun and laugh and joke around, but it's not fun for me anymore. And it's also not my responsibility to save someone else. You know that saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I can't fix you. I'm not trying to change you. I don't want to change you. I think you're an amazing woman with an amazing heart and a great personality. You just have this one thing you're struggling with that I don't know what to do with. I just know that you can't come on this app and you can't act the way that you do and then come back on this app the next day and act like you didn't say the things that you've said about people. You know, you can't come on here and call people see you next Tuesdays and call people fat bitches. Hi, Sherry. You can't call people fat asses and bitches and then, the next day come on the app and act like people aren't supposed to be upset with some of the things that you've said. And I think if that's what you do, when you do decide to break your sobriety, then you don't log on TikTok, But I know it's your platform and you're going to do what you want to do, and that's fine. But I can't sit in that box with you and condone it either. Because me being in that box laughing as if you didn't say hurtful things to people is honestly, in a way, it is me condoning it and it is me enabling it. And sometimes you got to ask yourself, what role are you playing in that person's life that's maybe causing them to keep acting the way that they do, The old me would have probably lost my shit, right? The old me probably would have come unhinged and, cussed Woody out and told her she was this and that. But I'm not wanting to be that way. I'm wanting to do it in a more mature, respectful manner. But you're not going to listen if you don't want to listen. Thank you, Sherry. I lost an uncle to alcoholism. He drank so much that he lost the blood circulation in his feet. And before he ended up passing away, he was going to have his feet amputated because of the poor circulation. You know what I mean? I have a first cousin who's a year older than me that has to drink so much in the morning just so he can't shake anymore. You know what I mean? And I think he'll be lucky if he makes it to 50. And I think at this point in time, it's just more like me protecting like my own, my own mental state of mind and my own peace in my life, I have a good job. I have an amazing man in my life that loves me and cares about me, and we have fun every day. And he's not one to tell me to like walk away, and he's not one to tell me to like be done, but this whole situation, he just said, just let her stand in her own shit and she'll eventually figure it out, or she won't. But he doesn't like seeing somebody tear me down when I've been nothing but been there for you either. We can choose to log on this app or log off this app every single day. This app isn't real life, but your sobriety is. Your life matters just as long as everyone else's life matters. And I will say that, Sassy Virgo, if you're listening, if she did tell you to slit your throat, you didn't deserve that either. I don't care what anybody thinks of anybody on this app. No one deserves to sell somebody else to off themselves. And you definitely shouldn't come on this app telling people that that's what you're going to do to yourself. You know what I mean? But I did, Whitty. I called you 3 times. It went straight to voicemail, and then I texted you as well. I know Cartoon and Dolls. I know it's a whole different ballgame over there on that side of TikTok. I know that on that side of TikTok, they say a lot of horrible things to people. They tell people to do things to themselves, or they call people atrocious names, or whatever, I just think there's a lot of people on this app that get in these boxes and they feel like they're untouchable, They feel like they can just say and do anything they want, Y and Z, but in all actuality, you're in control in how you respond to people, and you're in control in how you treat people. And the internet is forever. How you present yourself, whether it's not in life or on the app or on internet, you're kind of showing the world who you are. You might not be showing them everything that you are or everything about your life, but you are showing them snippets of who you are as a person. And I've done my fair share of fuckery on this app. I've done my fair share of being in the drama, starting the drama, being in the chaos, starting the chaos. I've been on every side of it, I don't sit with anybody on this app. I don't sit with a group of people on this app. I stand by myself. And at least I can say that I stand on my own 2 feet, even at my lowest of lows, even when I've been crashing out, even when I've been upset or I've been pissed off or mad or frustrated. I've done it on my own 2 feet, you know? I hope so, Nana. 3 babies. I do. But we also have to remind ourselves that these individuals on this app are people that you're probably never going to meet in real life. And two of the most amazing women that I've ever met on this app are my real friends. I literally talk to them almost every day. And I will say, out of all the fuckery that I have gone through on this app, meeting those two women was probably one of the best things that's ever happened in my life. Because they have been with me through it all. And I have formed an amazing bond with those two. And, you know, they don't fill my head with things that I want to hear. They tell me what I need to hear. And those are the type of people that you should want to have in your life on this app. You should want to have people in your life that are going to encourage you to be the best version of yourself, you know? But I know that I've changed. I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect, but I know that I have changed a lot. I know that I've changed for the better. And I know that there's a lot of people on here that come in my chats that do support me and that do care about me. And I want y'all to know that that's not ever gone unseen. You know what I'm saying? I do recognize and I do notice, you know, you women and individuals that come in here and are supportive and that have always been there. And I do truly appreciate that. You know, and I don't miss the chaos. I don't miss the drama. I don't miss it. I don't miss the hatefulness. I mean, I'm watching it. Sometimes I'll go into lives, you know, under one of my, you know, accounts that nobody knows that it's me, and I'll just go in and listen. And sometimes I literally look at that live and I'm like, wow, I used to be a part of this shit. You know what I mean? It's like I used to be in a box acting just like this. And when you start looking, like when you take a step back and you start looking at things, you really start seeing things in a different light. You know, all the doxing and the contacting jobs and the, you know, hurt people. And I think it's like, sometimes I think people are in competition who can do the most foul, disgusting things to people. It's like when you go low, I go lower, right? It's like you've hurt me, now I have to hurt you type of mentality. And what's crazy about it is it's adults that are doing this, grown adults. So I'm not even talking about teenagers or college students. I'm talking about men and women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s on this app participating in some of the most vile, disgusting, gross behavior. Every day, all day, day in, day out. You know, I work, you know, I don't go live like I used to. When I don't go, you know, I don't hold hour lives like I used to. I don't go and box hop and jump in this box and that box and run my mouth and start my shit. Trust me, there have been times where I've heard my name brought up over and over again, and it's like I'm not even around. Like, what are you getting out of it? You know, like when you log off at the end of the day, does it make you proud? Like, are you happy with yourself knowing that you are just being destructive and toxic on an app that fulfills your day? All I know is I get my new puppy October 24th. And as most of you know, I lost my three dogs in my divorce. And that was probably the hardest thing that I've had to come to terms with, is not having those three fur babies. And I will just say that me bringing this new fur baby into my life is, I am so excited to train her and love on her and, you know, make videos of her and make fun content and show her off. Like, I am so excited to like show that part of myself again, that fun side, that happy side. And it's just I have to make a decision, you know, with Woody. And any of you guys that still are encouraging her and pushing her in the right, you know, direction, awesome. You said Brittany Fanfo is coming. Shoo Shoo, who's Brit? Shoo Shoo, are you on the other side of TikTok? You know what I'm talking about? I've seen you in the boxes over there. I've never interacted with you. Y'all are on a whole different level on that side of TikTok. Y'all are on that TMZ side TikTok shit. Hold on.